A soft hue of dawn stretches across the horizon, touching the restless waters with gentle pinks and golds. The sky is vast and comforting, clouds far off like quiet guardians above a forgotten world. The tide breathes on the sandy shore, each wave rolling in slow, steady rhythm, welcoming the new day as if for the first time. Lara wakes, her mind surfacing through layers of gentle dream and memory. Salt lingers in the air, mingled with the scent of damp earth and distant pine. The sand beneath her glows, under the sun's warming touch, soft and cool at her back. With slow movements she sits up, feeling aches in muscles that have been soothed by the night's peace. All around is silence, punctuated only by the low call of gulls and the soft lap of waves against driftwood and rock. She takes a long, steady breath, tasting the briny promise of adventure. Her eyes scan the coastline, smooth stones, battered timbers, patches of wildflowers reaching hopefully toward the light. The remnants of yesterday's storm have mostly faded, leaving behind new treasures for careful eyes. Fragments of weathered rope, a half-buried compass, shells shining with the glow of morning. Nearby, Lara's gear is scattered but intact, washed in the pastel light. She gathers it slowly, checking each piece with deliberate attention. The world remains unhurried. Far above, crows circle lazily. In the shallows, crabs skitter in their slow search for food. With everything collected, she stands and stretches again, the soft sand yielding beneath bare feet. She begins to explore the shore, choosing a gentle pace. Each step leaves a small imprint, a mark that will soon be erased, joining countless others in the story of the island. The sounds of small creatures, frogs chirping in shadowy pools, the buzz of insects among the tall reeds, merge with the soothing rush of the morning tide. Near a tangle of driftwood, Lara pauses. She crouches low to observe the delicate web, spun between two branches, glistening with dew. Her touch is careful, her mind branching into memories of books read, voices heard, all simpler and calmer than the landscapes her journey will soon reveal. She lingers a moment longer, neither wishing nor fearing, simply savoring the quiet gift of being. Walking further, she finds signs of others' passage, a broken or footprints half swallowed by the tide, the outline of a message in the sand, a story half told, a secret kept only for those who move slowly enough to see. Lara lets her imagination wander, painting gentle portraits of fellow castaways, their hopes carried into morning on the scent of blooming wildflowers. With the sun now high, Lara settles beside a sheltered cove, dipping her hands into cold water and listening to the faint music of the waves. There is comfort in the repetition. The ocean's endless coming and going, the soft rise and fall of breath, and the promise that time is long and forgiving. She eats a small breakfast, simple, sustaining. The sea remains endlessly patient. Whales breach in the distance, circling away from sight, and the island holds its secrets with quiet indifference. As midday approaches, Lara finds a patch of sunlight and reclines on warm, rounded stones. Her eyes close, her breathing slows, and the world drifts gently on the tide. The birds, the promise that adventure waits but does not demand. For now, the shore is her sanctuary, soft, safe, held between the awakening sun and the endless wash of waves. When Lara leaves the tranquil shore, the world grows lush and inviting. The path curves gently away from the sand, losing itself beneath an emerald canopy where light drips through leaves in glistening rivers. Every step feels softer here. The earth springs underfoot, blanketed in moss and a carpet of damp petals fallen from last night's flowers. The morning air is thick with the perfume of blooming orchids and the slow hum of unseen life. She moves without hurry, letting the hush of the jungle settle over her like a comforting shawl. Ferns reach for Lara's arms as she passes, brushing lightly and leaving beads of dew on her skin. Vines twist upward, threading shafts of sunlight in a tapestry overhead. Somewhere nearby, a waterfall murmurs, a low susurrus promising coolness and secrets, held deep within stone. Birds flutter from branch to branch, their feathers flashing green and gold. Lara stops to watch a pair of hummingbirds drawing nectar from the heart of a crimson blossom. She listens to their wings, a sound so delicate it feels like a whisper at the edge of sleep. She follows the calls of distant monkeys, never close enough to intrude, always far enough to remain only another element in the jungle's calm composition. The deeper she wanders, the more she sees the history hidden under the living beauty. Ruins of a once grand structure slumber beneath tangled roots, smooth stone blocks and the hollow curve of an archway, all painted with shadows that shift and disappear with the moving light. Time has claimed these shapes, but Lara studies them quietly, tracing carved lines with her fingertips, marveling at the patience of vines that have slowly woven themselves into every ancient wound. She sits for a while among the ruins, resting her back against weathered stone, closing her eyes and letting the world narrow to a peaceful lull. The low drone of insects and the splash of water fill her ears. The soft scents of leaves and old earth form a gentle balm in her chest. For long minutes, the jungle's embrace is total, worries drift away like mist, and every breath grounds her in the soft rhythm of being. When hunger quietly calls, Lara rises to forage. She collects ripe berries found in shadowed thickets and digs wild roots from dark, rich soil. Every motion is gentle. The jungle offers food without stinginess, and Lara accepts only what she needs. She rinses berries in the stream, savoring their cool sweetness, feeling a mosaic of gratitude settle in her bones. As the sun climbs, the light grows sleepier and the air warms, scented with spice and promise. Butterflies, blue, orange, and pale white, dance in loose spirals above the ruins. Lara stretches out among smooth boulders for a midday nap, the ground cool and reassuring beneath her. The jungle's song fades into the distance, cradling her in easy stillness. In this soft, green place, it is easy to believe that peace can last as long as the day. When she wakes, feeling rested and whole, Lara sets off once more, her spirit renewed, the shadows beneath the jungle canopy her quiet companions. The jungle gradually opens, revealing a hidden valley painted with 1,000 shades of green. Lara steps out from beneath the close canopy and finds herself surrounded by steep, moss-covered cliffs and the gentle sigh of a stream meandering across smooth stones. The air is fresher here, cooler, as if this quiet hollow has saved the best of the night's rain for morning's embrace. She follows the water's winding course, each step a soft invitation deeper into tranquility. Broad leaves catch the sunlight, sending bands of gold and jade rippling over shallow pools. Frogs rest on slippery rocks, blinking slow approval at the gentle intruder. Further ahead, the stream slows near a cluster of ferns and wild ginger, forming a pool so clear and quiet it seems a mirror for the sky above. Lara pauses, kneeling beside the pool, her reflection mingling with the silhouettes of drifting clouds and the flight of lazy dragonflies. She washes her hands, feeling the chill of water and the smoothness of time-polished stones. The rings from her fingers gently lap outwards, echoing only for themselves before vanishing into perfect stillness. Nearby, the cliffs hold the memory of ancient hands, carved steps softened by moss, faded, glyphs that tell stories without urgency. Lara reads these gentle marks, her fingers, following old trails, letting imagination fill in the gaps between fact and myth. She sits while on a broad, inviting stone, lost in daydreams stitched together by the valley's lullaby. Its swirling breezes, its patient fragrance, its gentle touch. A family of capybaras settles in the grass. Lara watches them graze and drift into a nap, their rounded shapes nearly vanishing among soft tufts of green. She smiles, remembering her own kin far from this place, the easy, quiet love she still carries. With the sun high, she prepares a simple camp, laying out her sleeping roll beneath a canopy of red blossoms, gathering wild berries, and boiling water with careful, practiced movements. High overhead, birds sing with the slow confidence of those who have known peace generation upon generation. The valley seems to hum with approval, sheltering Lara as one of its own. She naps again in the dappled shade, heart and senses wide open to the gentle tapestry. The world weaves. The sound of water, the calls of birds, the occasional rustle of a lizard among the leaves. In this valley, even sleep feels like a celebration of safety, gratitude, and patience, a gift no hardship or danger can quite touch. When she awakes, she explores further, finding an old path cleared by years of careful use. Flowers line the edges. Stones have been arranged in slow, loving patterns, circles for gathering, spirals leading quietly to secret places. Lara follows every sign and pause, each gentle mystery leading not to danger, but to beauty, rest, and the wisdom of taking things slowly. The light fades only gradually as afternoon slips to evening. Lara watches dusk settle like silk across the valley, fireflies rising as stars begin their ascent above the cliffs. She warms a final meal over a low fire, its smoke curling sleepily above. She sits quiet, letting peace settle in until the world narrows to a haze of warmth, crickets, and distant, lulling water. Tonight, the valley shelters her as family, its green embrace soothing every worry and coaxing every last thought toward dreams. As twilight layers itself gently over the valley, Lara gathers her things and follows a winding trail to where the cliffs lean close and the world narrows. Here, hidden between ancient stones and tangled vines, lies a sanctuary built long before memory, a place where even the wind moves softly, respecting every mark and shadow. She moves with reverence, her steps cushioned by carpets of moss and fallen petals, her breath taken at the enormity of silence that seems to settle even the most persistent thoughts. The walls of the sanctuary are etched with faded stories, spirals, symbols, and silhouettes of animals, all painted with patient hands and watched over by centuries of growing things. Branches arch overhead, natural and carved alike, which filter starlight down in thin, glimmering threads. Lara pauses at the entrance, letting the hush envelop her. The sanctuary smells of earth and old stone, layered with the light sweetness of jasmine and the subtle tang of ancient fires. She places her hand gently on the doorway, feeling the cool smoothness, letting herself belong for a moment not just to herself, but to every traveler who has found respite here. Inside, columns of stone rise like trees, supporting arches heavy with history. Ferns and orchids grow from cracks, and tiny motes of dust float in shafts of moonlight. Lara explores with care, noticing baskets once filled with offerings now home to families of beetles. A low shelf holds scraps of pottery, fragments of woven mats, and shells, each item a quiet piece of the sanctuary's story. She settles at the center, where an ancient circle is traced into the floor. The moss here is plush, inviting her to sit and rest. For a long time, she allows her thoughts to drift, settling into the sanctuary's slow rhythm. She imagines voices gently echoing here, laughter and song, tears washed away with whispered hope. Lara closes her eyes and feels the ground. Steady her, old energy moving through the stone like a soft heartbeat. Outside, night falls in layers. The sanctuary fills not with emptiness but with the soft breathing of the world. Crickets chirr, bats whisper through high rafters, and cool air stirs petals and leaves. Lara builds a small fire with careful hands, its flame humble beneath the stone roof. She warms a meal, sipping wild berry tea, letting every taste settle slowly. After she eats, she listens to the stories the sanctuary keeps. The wind moving over carved spirals, the remembered hush of footsteps much like hers, the gentle drip of water down ivy-covered walls. The world is so still, so blissfully unhurried, that Lara feels sleep would come simply from being present, held in the circle's gentle protection. She lays out her blanket, curling up instead of stretching long. The fire watches over her, steady companion through the slow hours. Above, the moon peeks through a gap in the stones, casting a silver blessing on all it touches. Lara drifts off, heart light and soul, sheltered in the layers of sanctuary. The hush, the warmth, the certainty that peace can persist, even here at the edge of forgotten wonders. Dreams come quietly, weaving with the night's stories, gentle as moss and slow as the sanctuary's own patient breath. Here the world asks nothing but rest, and Lara surrenders, safe in the calm of history. A new day breaks softly over the ancient sanctuary, light spilling like honey through the cracks between old stones. Lara wakes slowly, feeling the coolness of dew-swept air and the gentle pressure of moss beneath her blanket. She listens before moving, the fire's last whispers, the faint shuffle of a mouse creeping in the shadows, the flutter of early birds alighting on high branches overhead. The world feels renewed, as if the stories woven in the sanctuary stone have spun themselves into her own dreams. She rises, stretching in the pale morning, her breath mingling with the mist that drifts quietly through the open doorway. Outside, the sky is striped with soft lavender and gold. From below, the valley lies calm and sleepy, shrouded in thin ribbons of fog. Lara steps into the light, feeling the sanctuary's peace linger in her heart as she gathers her pack and prepares for the day, unhurried and grateful. Her path leads further into the valley, and the morning's hush deepens with every step. Ferns are still heavy with dew, their fronds arching under tiny globes that scatter fragments of rainbow as the sun rises higher. Lara pauses often to watch as small creatures greet the day. A lizard basking on a sun-warmed stone, a spider repairing its delicate web, birds tuning their voices for songs that will fill the air until dusk. She follows a stream that dances over pebbles, its water clean and cold when she kneels to drink. The taste is sweet and pure, a gift given freely by the land. With each swallow, Lara feels her strength restored, her mind settling further into the embrace of this gentle morning. Around a bend in the valley, Lara discovers a hidden corner, a garden shaped by old hands now mostly tended by nature. Raised beds of herbs spill over with mint, thyme, and lemon balm, their scents warm and inviting. She gently collects a handful, careful to leave more than she takes, aware of the delicate balance that keeps the valley thriving. Near the herbs, wild strawberries glimmer in the grass, gems of red and pink waiting for slow hands. With sunlight growing bolder, Lara sits on a flat stone surrounded by flowers, weaving stems and petals into her hair, savoring the simplicity of breakfast. Sweet berries, fresh herbs, cool water. The land hums a low, contented song, its rhythms steadying the pulse, lifting the heart. Every part of her is wrapped in the warmth of being alive and unhurried. Every worry of distant days is quiet here, dissolving in the soft gold of morning. From her vantage, Lara considers the world anew. She watches dragonflies skim the stream, their wings glinting copper and sapphire, and sees the shadow of a deer as it noses among the bushes, gentle and undisturbed. She sketches lazy patterns in the sand, letting her mind wander, content to be carried forward only by curiosity and comfort. The hidden garden invites a longer rest. Lara naps again in the shade of a broad-leaved tree, letting the hum of bees and scent of herbs guide her into easy dreams. The world remains slow and safe. Her breath and the valleys are one, both moving with a timeless patience. When she wakes, the valley has shifted a little, the light now higher and the birds in full song. Lara gathers her things calmly and sets off to explore more of the gentle world around her, nourished by the discoveries of dawn. Each step forward is soft. Every sight and sound is a small miracle revealed. In this peaceful tapestry, Lara walks on, feeling whole and hopeful, her spirit gathered, her journey always guided by the quiet wisdom of the morning. Mid-morning finds Lara easing her way along a faint path, just wide enough to follow, winding through a thicket of ancient trees. Here, the canopy rises high above her, a living roof woven from leaves and sunbeams. The sunlight comes in soft, dappling pools, flickering gold and green across the forest floor. Each new clearing feels like a quiet sanctuary perfectly shaped by chance and time. The air is fragrant, full of the earthy richness of growing things and tinged with the distant sweetness of wild honeysuckle blooming somewhere among the thickets. Vines twist around stout trunks, adorned with clusters of tiny violet flowers. Moss hangs in gentle curtains from boughs and shaded rocks. The hush is nearly total except for the softest sounds. The drip of last night's rain falling from leaves, the lazy buzz of bees moving between blossoms, the subtle crunch of Lara's boots pressed in moss and leaf litter. She stops at a fallen log, its bark softened by years of gentle decay, and rests in the filtered sun. Ants march silently in columns over rich, dark wood. A family of snails, shells, glimmering in green light, slides unhurriedly over the moist surface. Lara leans back and closes her eyes, listening to the peace of the forest. Every sound and absence of sound is a balm. Her breathing slows, her shoulders soften, and for a few precious moments, she thinks of nothing at all. Wandering onward, she moves gently between stands of bamboo. The canes sway with the softest sigh, breathing coolness into the warm air. A small creek crosses the path, its water running bright over smooth stones. Lara steps carefully between them, savoring the chill on her skin, then pauses to watch brilliant orange fish dart beneath the surface, untroubled by her nearness. On the far bank, she finds evidence of older journeys, the pale shape of a campfire ringed with rounded stones, the ghost of a footprint preserved in dried clay, strands of twine, knotted from wild grasses and left hanging as quiet offerings in a low-hanging branch. She pauses to honor these gentle signs, adding a river pebble to the circle and a sprig of mint to a shaded crevice, gifts for those who wandered slowly before her. Time drifts easily, the sun slipping from east to west as birds call to each other in the hush. Parrots flash overhead, their voices bright and sudden, then vanish into the flicker of the canopy. Lara sits often, savoring bits of bread and fruit, letting her senses fill with the vibrant tapestry of the world. The coolness of the shade, the shifting pattern of sun and leaf, the steady comfort of the ground beneath her. Eventually, she enters a clearing where the trees pull back and ferns cluster around a shallow pond. The water glows gold in the sunlight. Dragonflies and damselflies float like living jewels. Lara stretches out on the bank, the grass bending beneath her, and drifts into gentle daydreams. The smell of earth and green things holds her in place so completely that time itself grows soft and meaningless. She naps in waves, waking here and there to trace slow shapes in the clouds, to listen to the chatter of crickets in the grass, to let her eyes follow butterflies dancing just above the pond's surface. The world gives her no calls to action, only invitations to rest, wander, and notice quietly. When the sun is low and the shadows long, Lara rises gently, collecting her pack and leaving the clearing just as she found it. The hush returns as she winds back beneath the canopy. Each step finds new slants of light, new pools of quiet, the forest's peace, undisturbed by her passing. With dusk gathering, Lara finds another friendly hollow beneath a twist of ancient roots. She builds a tiny fire, its flame a mere glow among the roots, and eats her supper as the evening birdsong settles over the world. As the forest darkens, she wraps herself in her blanket, allowing the gentle comfort of the trees to surround her. In the deep quiet of the night, Lara drifts easily toward dreams, her sleep protected by the endless patience of the woods and the slow dance of sunlight through the canopy. As dawn surrenders to a quiet afternoon, the world around Lara grows hushed again, every color softened by filmy veils of mist drifting in from the river below. She walks gently, beneath arching boughs, and feels the cool moisture of the fog rise up around her, softening each sound, turning every step into a private secret between her and the land itself. The trees here are ancient and close, their trunks twisting together in patterns formed by centuries of patience. Moss coats every limb in velvet, and small white mushrooms form delicate steps up the sides of fallen logs. Lara breathes in the loamy scent of wood and earth, letting the whole world slow until she can sense the heartbeat of the grove. Steady, deep, serene. Birdsong is faint now, as if every finch and thrush agrees to whisper in the mist. Only the gentle tumble of rivulets over pebbles and a distant tap of woodpeckers break the silence. Further, every so often, she sees a splash of color. Red berries peeking through ferns, the indigo flash of a kingfisher pausing at water's edge, or the lavender bell of a wildflower seeking the sun. As Lara wanders, she discovers hidden beauty. A small pool reflecting the gray sky, rimmed by arrow-shaped leaves and dapples of duckweed. She sits for a while beside it, watching mist slip and curl across its surface, stirring memories as old and gentle as the trees that surround her. She lets herself daydream, unrushed and untethered. Here, in this untouched place, stories do not have to unfold quickly. They can grow like the vines, quiet and persistent. Lost in thought, Lara notices the trail of tiny animal prints meandering through the mud. Raccoon, perhaps, or a small jungle cat. She follows the tracks deeper among the roots, silent as shadow, noticing loose feathers, the glossy shell of a beetle, a featherweight, snake skin coiled like a ribbon beneath a fern. Every discovery is its own reward, a gentle, wordless promise that the world is always ready to reveal more, if she moves slowly enough to see it. Dusk approaches, and the mist takes on a glow as moonrise brightens the world beyond. The canopy. Moonbeams slip through cracks and scatter in silver patterns along the soft ground. Lara finds a hollow ringed by old stones, a space open to the sky where orchids and starflowers glisten with dew. She lays her blanket in the center and sits cross-legged, letting the cool air and quiet rise and settle around her shoulders. For supper, she nibbles on sweet fruit and the last of her bread, listening to the forest's night song begin. The low croak of frogs, the high click of distant insects, the gentle breeze swaying leaves overhead. She builds a small fire, its light a pale twin to the moon above. Shadows flicker softly, never harsh, and the night feels both endless and embracing. As the hours deepen, Lara lies back on her blanket, watching the moon make pools of light that drift over her face and hands. Through the high branches, she sees 1,000 stars, their reflections mirrored in the pool. The air is clear and cool, and each breath carries her further from wakefulness, deeper into a place where worries fade and only comfort remains. Dreams come easily, woven from mist and moonlight, from the gentle patience of the grove and the promise of dawn waiting beyond the trees. Tonight, in the heart of the forgotten forest, Lara is safe and utterly at rest, held in the calm of ancient roots and the stories whispered by mist and moon. Morning reveals itself with a soft sigh, mist lifting from the forest to uncover a world sparkling with dew. Lara wakes in the ring of old stones, shrouded in a silvery calm, her breath visible in the cool air. For a while, she doesn't rise, simply listening to the slow awakening. A leaf dropping softly, a heron's wing beating over the distant marsh, the nearly imperceptible hum of insects stirring. She lets her heart match the peaceful tempo of the day, knowing her only duty is to notice, to linger, to rest. When she finally stands, Lara stretches beneath a canopy now gilded by early light. She packs her blanket, brushes dew from her shoulders, and nudges the faint embers of her fire into rich black soil, leaving the circle just as the grove first offered it. The moon is gone now, replaced by the gold promise of sunrise behind the trees. She follows the sound of water, drawn through fern-laced paths by the song of a hidden stream. The stream winds through chasms of moss and root, spilling over little falls where the sun shards through the branches and ferns with quiet brilliance. Lara kneels, cups her hands and drinks, cool and sweet, the taste alive with minerals and memory. She wanders with the current, walking in shallow bends, stepping from rock to rock, shoes damp and laughter rising in her chest as if awakened by the morning. The stream widens and slows, feeding into a wildflower meadow so bright it seems to glow. Here, sunflowers lean on their sturdy stems, bluebells droop beneath the weight of dew, and bright poppies open to greet the heat to come. Lara settles in tall grass at the meadow's heart, the air thick with the perfume of thousands of blooms. Bees bumble and whirl, their legs heavy with pollen. Butterflies float lazily, moving from one flower to another with no particular haste. Lara watches their silent dance, their easy work, and rests her elbows on a round, sun-warmed stone, feeling the earth's gentle pulse beneath. She spends the late morning there, eating ripe fruit from a bush spotted with morning dew, braiding wild grasses and small purple blooms into a bracelet. Her thoughts drift, memories of home, old lessons quietly remembered, moments of laughter shared with friends now distant. The worries of journey and purpose fade to the edge, replaced by the assurance that this too is progress. Moving slowly, taking joy in gentleness, letting the landscape heal and steady her. A breeze begins in the hills and stirs the meadow, first as a whisper, then as a cool ribbon, setting the grasses waving like a sea. The sun climbs and warms her shoulders. Lara lies back, gazing up into the blue between leaves, the breeze drying tears she hadn't realized had slipped silently in the hush. By midday, she continues alongside the stream, pausing at a bank where water moves quietly beneath drooping willow branches. She washes dust from her hands and face, then naps a while in the willow's shadow, the gentle lap of water and rustle of leaves a lullaby, more soothing than any song. When she awakes, the world is unchanged, and the wildflowers still nod where she left them. The stream will carry her onward, winding through the woods and out beyond the meadow. But she lingers in this sunlit place a little longer, heart and spirit slow and full. Evening comes in copper waves. Lara finds a quiet hollow between rushes and lays her blanket in a circle of yellow daisy and clean stones. As the stars emerge, the sound of water and the wildflowers in the dark cradle her in the calmest of sleeps. Peaceful, renewed, and deeply at home with herself and the gentle, welcoming world. The sun rises slow and golden, shaping the world in mellow waves of warmth that slip between trees, brush, and wildflowers. Lara stirs from sleep not to the urgency of adventure, but to the soothing continuity of soft water sounds and the quiet rush of fresh morning air. She remains nestled in her blanket a while, watching as sunlight beads along the daisy petals and lights the rippling surface of the nearby stream. When she rises, peace walks with her. She finds an old, winding trail, a path not claimed by urgency, but formed by the gentle passage of animals and time. The ground here is soft and lush, shaded beneath looming cliffs that rise on either side, ancient guardians carved by wind and dream. Vines spill down like curtains, and soft moss transforms hard stone into green pillows, making everything feel welcome and forgiving. Lara pauses at the base of the cliffs, placing a palm on the cool, rough surface. The stone vibrates faintly under her touch, holding secrets of rainstorms and sunsets, of the slow patience with which the world encircles its stories. Birds nestle in high niches and call in echoing bursts, their voices lively yet never intrusive. From above, waterfalls tumble in thin silver ribbons, their sprinkles forming mist in the air that cools Lara's skin like a blessing. She explores quietly, her steps cushioned by moss and leaf. On one shaded ledge she finds a cluster of tiny, yellow mushrooms and the remains of a bird's egg, perfectly intact, lightly dusted with morning dew. At the edge, the stream pools in natural basins where shoals of tiny fish dart and swirl, forming patterns too complex to follow, too effortless to repeat. With midday comes a gentle breeze, winding its way down the cliffs. It carries scents of stone, water, wet leaves, and hidden flowers that thrive in the cool shadow. Lara follows the breeze to a broad shelf where the rock opens like a stage and patches of sunlight gather. Here, she rests, gazing at the tapestry painted by shadow and light across the far gorge, a living mural that shifts with every cloud and whisper of wind. She makes camp in a hollow tucked among wild ferns, arranging her belongings in neat circles as she has learned from the land. She gathers sweet water from a trickling spring, then tastes its icy purity with shimmering gratitude. Lara eats a midday meal of ripe fruit, fresh herbs, and a few nuts shared by the squirrels she glimpses darting above. Each simple bite reminds her of the ease with which the world provides, the patient wisdom lying just beneath still moments. As the afternoon deepens, she explores passageways winding through the cliff base, natural arches and ragged tunnels soft with moss, their walls etched with scores and spirals made by roots and water. Lara traces the stories in the stone, feeling the pulse of time and the unhurried persistence it brings. In one tunnel, she finds a patch of bluebells, blooming in a shaft of sun, their petals trembling in a secret draught. She sits among them, breathing in their fragrance, letting herself be gently cradled by the cool embrace of the stone. Dusk falls late and golden, casting long shadows, and Lara arranges her blanket among ferns. She listens to the cliffs, every creak and sigh a gentle echo, every gust of wind a friendly whisper. She builds a fire whose light flickers on stone and leaf, warming the soft hollow and inviting the peace of evening closer still. As the stars rise, scattered and bright, Lara lies back, the stone behind her heart cool and steady. She watches the sky change, listens to the soft hush of cliffs and water, lets herself slip into dreams woven from mist, moss, and infinite patience. Here, beneath the whispering cliffs, surrounded by the world's quiet assurance, Lara finds sleep's gentle gate. Tomorrow will arrive unrushed and welcoming, an extension of the endless calm that cradles her this night. The cliffs cradle Lara through the softest hours of night, their voices a lullaby of wind and stone. When first light breaks, it does so are in gentle folds, ribbons of gold and pale blue, streaming through the mist, touching every crack and fern. Lara awakes with a smile, her breath slow, feeling the world shift from dream to waking in the quietest possible way. She rolls up her blanket, smooths moss beneath her hands, and gathers her few belongings. The dawn carries a silent promise. Today is not for struggle or racing onward, but for returning, for gathering the gentle lessons learned among water, stone, and wildflowers. She moves with reverence, each step traced in memory, the hush of the cliffs, blessing her path. The stream leads her back, now a mirror of the sky, reflecting drifting clouds and branches bent with dew. Lara walks beside it, pausing often to listen. The only sounds are those of the living world at rest, the plop of a frog in the shallows, the flap of a bird in low flight, the whisper of leaves tugged lightly by the morning wind. Through sunlit gaps, she finds herself drawn toward familiar meadows. The wildflowers welcome her, their petals open and luminous, waving slowly to the tune of the breeze. Lara sits among them, letting their scent fill her chest, letting the quiet joy of homecoming sit gentle in her heart. She eats berries and cool water with gratitude, remembering every nap, every night's fire, every kindness the silent land bestowed. Every so often, she crosses traces of her own footsteps, a smudge of grass, a pebble, ringed in sand, the faintest imprint of sleep beneath the willow's low branches. Lara considers the way time folds memory into place, leaving gifts for those who return slowly. Enough to find them, she makes her way out of the valley, pausing at the ancient sanctuary one last time. The stones greet her, cool and loving. She rests her palm against the carvings, feeling ages hum quietly through her skin. She places one final wildflower in a crevice, a token of thanks for all the peace, mystery, and comfort found here. As midday approaches, Lara stands at the edge of the worlds. Forest behind her, sea ahead, both familiar now, both softer and more patient than she remembered. She reaches the shore, stepping onto the warm gold sand, letting the sun paint her shadow across the surf. With each wave's gentle rush, worries soften, plans fall quiet, and only the cathedral hush of the rolling ocean remains. She sits for a time in the shallows, fingers trailing in cool water, the breeze wrapping her like a gentle cloak. Nothing is asked of her here, nothing more needs to be done. The journey has ended in stillness, in return, in the kind silence that carries every traveler at last. Evening comes, and Lara builds a small, careful fire. The flame flickers kindly as the sky blushes to deep purple. The wind carries both the adventure and its peace, weaving every lesson and kindness into the dusk. She wraps herself in her blanket, listening to the tides and the distant song of birds settling down. Under the open sky, Lara's breath slows, her gaze softens, and sleep finds her in the arms of the shore, safe, content, and utterly at rest with the gentle world she wandered. The night carries her softly through the last dream, a dream spun of sunlight, stone, water, and quiet return. With the stars above and the silent land below, Lara drifts off, home at last, held by the everlasting hush of a world that welcomes every slow step, every restful sigh, every story that finds its ending in peace.